All these niggas hating on the low, but they say nothing, cause they know I hold the aces in the flow and they stay bluffing. It's nothing when it comes to this rapping, it's hard work, ain't no luck involved, it's all about the passion.
It's Matt Ganem the Poet here with the Ghetto Geek TV Weekly, your spot for hip hop. I'm over here with my man A-Storm.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's going on?
So what got you into hip hop? Like the first time you heard it?
It started off with the Ghetto Boys back in the day. First tape I owned, you know what I mean? And what got me into hip hop was just the emotion that you could release behind it, you know what I mean? It was relatable to me. It was what I was living, you know, and it eventually became something that I wanted to venture and turn into a career.
Yeah.
So that's what really got me inspired, you know. So that's how it all started.
Yeah. What are some of the other influences like growing up besides the Ghetto Boys?
You know, I have a lot of influences. Not just hip hop either, you know what I'm saying? Like my music inspiration comes from lots of different directions. My mom's a huge Rolling Stones fan, so you know, my inspirations came from many different directions. But the one that I felt most comfortable with and that suited me the best was hip hop, man. You know what I mean? And the whole culture, you know, everything about it, I just loved and still do love to this day. Yeah.
I gotcha. So what was like the first CD you ever bought?
The first CD that I ever bought was Snoop Dogg. And my dad actually come get it with me because I wasn't old enough to buy it. I bought it with my money, but that album just blew my mind away, man. All the creativity behind it, and you know, Dr. Dre, the inspiration for the album. That was the first CD I ever owned. I specifically remember going to get it.
Nice little memory of you and your pops going there to get it, you know?
Definitely.
Something that stays with you forever.
Definitely.
So, what are your top 5? Who's your top 5 dead or alive?
Man, that's tough. You know, a lot of people always say top 5 dead or alive. I mean, you know, my biggest inspiration as a child growing up was Biggie, of course, Ready to Die album. That album, like, the time I was going through a lot of stuff as a young child, you know, being in a home of, you know, parents that were drug addicts and stuff like that, and I could just turn to that CD and it blew my mind. Eminem, of course, he just changed hip hop completely, made cats step their game up. Snoop Dogg, definitely one of my big inspirations. The Ghetto Boys, like I said, going way back. Some of y'all might not remember that, but going way back. Yeah, before the time. And I mean, there's so many. It's really hard for me to sit here and say 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Tupac, definitely. I'll go the regular route because Tupac, I'm not gonna lie, was a huge inspiration for me too. So that would probably be my top 5 dead or alive for sure. For sure.
What was the last CD that you bought? Out of like, you know, not like I had the CD 10 years ago and I want to get it again, but like who's the last CD that you got out of like, is there any artist like that's out right now that you mess with? More so than others.
I really like B.O.B. right now. B.O.B. is amazing. He's just so talented, man. He's so creative, and he comes from a great record label, Grand Hustle. He is the top one that I mess with right now at this point in my life. Yes.
When did you start? When did rapping become something you wanted to do as a career as opposed to just a hobby?
It started off when I was probably about 12, 13 years old. I remember specifically my dad telling me I was getting bad grades, and he told me, you can remember every lyric to every rap song, but you can't remember your homework. And for some reason that quote right there just set me off. I mean, seriously, is when people started telling me that they were feeling my music, that they think I should do more live shows with people that I grew up with, like Wu-Tang and stuff like that. All that stuff just really pushed it over the edge for me to know that this is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. For sure.
So I got a question. What was your first recording studio experience like? Like the first time you stepped into the booth and was like, damn, I'm in a recording studio. You know, because it's different than like being in like a cypher. You know what I mean? Where you're kicking verses or even writing. Like you're there, you know, you're in the booth. Tell me what that was.
Right. The first time I ever really recorded was at a friend's house. He had the mic drop down from the ceiling like we were about to start a boxing match. And that was pretty cool. But the first time I ever stepped into a real studio was my man Jules. Shout out to Jules Inc., man. Big inspiration for me, man. Big inspiration. As soon as I stepped in there and I heard the way that I sounded when he played it back, I knew that's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly how I wanted it to sound.
Yeah.
And it was an uplifting experience, definitely.
So there's no nervousness. You went in the booth and just like, yep,
one
take.
Of course.
Beasted.
There's always nerves, you know. There's always going to be nerves. But I'm comfortable with myself, so you can only be nervous so much. If you get too nervous in the booth and you got to do 1,000 recordings, I mean, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Not to say that you're not lyrically dope, but when you write your music,
you gotta be confident.
You gotta be confident. You gotta lay it down, point blank, you know. And yeah, shout out to Jules, man. Jules Inc.
Were you reading off of paper, or did you have your verse memorized?
The first, when I did it in Jules' studio, I had it memorized in my head. But sometimes, I mean, I got so many rhymes I can't remember them all, honestly. So I gotta read it from the paper sometimes. You know what I mean? But that first recording, I had it all in the head. Yeah, my first single. Yeah.
Remember the song?
Yeah, I do remember the song. It's called "Ready to Die" because it was inspired by Biggie, my favorite album, "Ready to Die." We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you still write, or you type everything out?
Yeah. Oh no, don't type.
We've had an open discussion with a couple people about it.
Yeah, I mean, I tried, you know, the whole writing on the phone thing, you know, writing on my computer. I mean, the problem with that is, one time I lost all my information on my phone, and I lost over 100 rhymes. Yeah. And some of the stuff I don't remember. So I was really upset by that. I went back to pen and pad. Any artists out there, pen and pad. You get more close, more. You know what I'm saying?
And I remember recent that you had it was like a rebirth when you went back, right?
Yep.
Because when you went from typing it out back to writing it on a piece of paper, didn't you say how much more shit was flying out?
Oh, definitely.
Because you went, it was like back to your roots.
Definitely. It's way more natural. I mean, when you're typing on the phone, usually you got things like text messages and Facebook and Twitter notifications that distract you. But when you put the phone aside, you turn the music up, and you write and you sit down, it's more fluid. You know what I'm saying? It's more graceful, I'd call it.
Yeah.
When it comes to writing.
Do you? Well, a lot of reason people use phones because you never know when a line's gonna hit you.
True.
So do you keep a pad on you?
Always. I mean, not in my back pocket, but always in my vicinity. I have my paper and pen ready to go. Ready to go. Absolutely.
Now, how did you and Cass? How did that whole situation form? Black Roze.
Funny story. Shout out to my man Neezy. Neezy and Cass were real close growing up, and when I came back from UMass Amherst, I was asking everybody around who they thought was the best rapper in Somerville because I wanted to link up with them and do music with them, and everybody kept telling me, this dude Cass, you got to link up with him. Yep. So Neezy is pretty much family with him. So he made it happen. He linked us together. The day we met, we recorded 3 songs. The day we met, we didn't even know each other.
Like that?
Just like that. We recorded 3 songs. And from there on, 4 albums later, a couple mixtapes later, we still here, man. We still here.
Hell yeah. You guys got something dropping real soon, right?
Yeah. We got an album called Shots and Dreams. It's coming out real soon. That's a compilation of what we've been going through in the past, 4 or 5 years, you know. We all had money, then we didn't have money. You know, we had women, stuff like that. All types of good stuff. So it's Shots and Dreams. You know, we're taking a shot for our dream. You know what I mean? Not a shot for our dream. We're taking our shots for our dreams.
I gotcha. Yeah. And what else you got coming up? You got any solo projects? You pushing anything?
Yeah, I got a solo mixtape coming out. It's a remix mixtape. Most of the songs, songs that you guys would know on the radio, I remixed, myself, threw a verse or 2 on there. I got a few singles coming out. Shout out to Fresh, my man Fresh at Mad Studios. I'll be recording with him soon, so I got a few things coming out.
What's it like being in the studio by yourself as opposed to working with your boy Cash?
Being in the studio by myself, it gives me more time to be like, I don't want to say creative, but it gives me more time to zone out. You know what I mean? I don't have to pay attention to nothing, just me and the engineer. I go into my zone, no expectations from people hearing me outside of the booth, you know what I mean, with the speakers. It's great. I mean, honestly, I love either way, but when you record by yourself, it's like, you feel it, you feel it, definitely.
It's that release.
Yeah. Yep, that personal release for yourself too, for sure.
Now, where do you picture yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I'd like to be living in New York, honestly. Shout out to New York, the whole NY.
It's going to put a smile on Iggy's face behind the camera.
Because, you know, out here in Boston, you know, it's cool. We have a decent rap scene, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people say we don't get together, but I think we do get together. I just don't think we market it enough. Yeah. So, if you, like they say, if you're going to make it anywhere, where are you going to make it? In New York, you know what I mean? So, I see myself in 5 years. I'd like to be an established artist that at least record labels know of, and maybe you want to, you know, shop around and stuff like that. I mean, I rap for fun too. You know, I love rap as my music, but ultimately, I would like to be successful and to be signed to a record label. Interscope.
Definitely. Now, who are some of your favorite cats out of Boston?
I got
tough.
a few.
It's tough. The list is long, man.
Yeah, I got a few. Definitely my man Neezy.
Yeah,
Neezy.
Shout out my dude.
Yeah. I seen him come a long way, man. A long way from just little punchlines to actually doing his thing and getting his music out there. I definitely mess with Nesto and Radar. Shout out to Cutting Corners, man. They doing it hard, man. They're a big inspiration to me too, man, as far as the business aspect. Definitely my man Pac Money. He goes very hard. Anybody that's grinding and it's a recognizable grind, absolutely I mess with them. And definitely this guy right here. This guy right here, forget about it. The hardest worker in National.
And I'll tell you, the first time I ever saw you perform, we were at this club in Quincy, and right, this man is just an entertainer. So, you know, the crowd wasn't as big as as you would normally like it at a place like that.
There was 5 people there.
That's all. It was about 5 of us, and it was 5 of us, not 5 people.
Right.
So that was the first time I think I ever got on a microphone. One of the first times. One of the first 3 times, whatever, I ever got on a microphone.
I remember
and performed a piece off the top, right? And then towards the end of the night, everybody had already done their thing. I even think one person didn't and left.
Yeah.
I forget. Somebody had an issue, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Ace just hops up on stage and just starts going in, and he put on like a half-hour show, and it was dope. And you could tell right then and there that you're an entertainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just a lyricist or a rapper or anything. Like, you entertain the crowd, and it doesn't matter. And I've seen you perform in pack houses at the Middle East, where there's hundreds and hundreds of people. So that's very inspiring. That it doesn't matter like whether it's 5 or 1,500. You're gonna put on a good show. Is having a daughter change your outlook on how you write?
Yes, absolutely. She changed my outlook on life, period. But when it comes to writing, definitely, I'm a lot more conscious of the stuff I write now. You know, I try not to be so disrespectful to women and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, growing up in the hip hop culture, you know, we taught about bitches and hoes and stuff like that, and having a girl for any man it's a whirlwind of emotions and
change you up real quick.
I know one day she's gonna actually listen to my music, and I don't want her to get the wrong impression of the type of person that I was. So yes, absolutely.
I heard an article where Eminem's daughter is dating a guy who said that Eminem was a huge inspiration on me.
Yeah.
And that scared the crap out of Eminem.
Yeah. I actually read that article, and karma, man. It's karma. You know what I mean? His daughter's grown.
Kill your wife 5 times and all the albums.
All that crazy stuff, man. You know, and I'm sure he knew that his daughter was gonna hear it. But it's just like when you're a superstar, and the people love what you're saying, you really can't change up too much like that. So I hear Eminem, man. I mean, I hear him on that one. He should be worried.
It's the James show.
His daughter's beautiful too, man.
Thank God I had a boy.
I know. Shout out to Christian, man.
Yeah, my little man. So you know, like, how hard is it around these pods to get recognition? As a Boston artist, right? Now, with venues and all that compared to, like, other cities, like, what do you think are some of the issues that we have in Boston?
Well, a main issue that we have in Boston is the promoters, man. The promoters that do these shows, man. I mean, I don't have any problems with you guys. It's just, you guys are always trying to dig deep into artists' pockets for them to try to perform. You know what I mean? If a guy's broke and he's nasty at performing, he'll never get a shot because he can't afford 1,000 tickets. You know, the promoters will tell you that you're not buying the tickets, you're going to be reselling them, making extra money. But the truth of the reality is you buy them out of your pocket, money that you probably don't have. And then most likely 200 tickets aren't going to be sold from you, so you're going to be left with extra, and you never ended up making that money, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's one of the issues. I mean, other issues is, yeah, we get together, but like I said, we don't get together and market. You know what I mean? We don't ride for each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anybody promoting Smoke Boja, or I see them promoting them. You know what I'm saying? They got friends that are fans, but there's no real dedication when it comes to fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another issue. I mean, shout out to all my Massachusetts and Boston artists. It's just, we got to start doing something different, man. We got to.
Somebody got to make it. Somebody that's bubbling.
Absolutely.
So let's see. So back, let's go back a little bit. What's an album that you can put in and play front to back?
Ready to Die. Ready to Die is from Biggie Smalls, his first studio album. It's probably my biggest inspiration for hip hop. I can play it all day, every day. It's extremely relatable to me. That's the thing about music. If it's relatable, then I can ride with it.
I'm on it. Sign me up.
Sign me up immediately. That was the first album that I played front to back, consistently every day for like years. You know what I mean? And yeah, that album specifically right there, Ready to Die, was my top.
Gotcha. Now, who's if you could have a dream collaboration with any singer, any rap artist, any producer, all on one song, who would it be?
All on one song. Definitely.
Anybody, dead or alive, Frank Sinatra, Elvis,
Frank
whoever.
Sinatra. Yes, Frank Sinatra. Let's go with him. Tony Bennett. No, absolutely. I don't want to sound like everybody else, but Eminem, man, with Dr. Dre.
First time we got that answer.
First time.
Yeah, Eminem, absolutely.
First time.
Dre,
too.
He trumps any artist that I'd ever want to do a song with. He trumps that. Production by Dr. Dre for sure. Maybe we'll feature with B.O.B, because I'm really riding with B.O.B right now. So yeah, absolutely.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Nas. Jay-Z Nas is extremely original. Pretty much everything he's ever put out was super original. I like Jay-Z. I'm not gonna. He's the boss of hip hop right now. Pretty much, he's the face of hip hop.
He sits on the throne.
Yeah, he sits on the throne. Definitely. It's just. Man, a lot of things go into that, like how we never gave Jazzo recognition to get to where he's at. You know what I'm saying?
What?
That's not true.
I mean, he did give him a little recognition. We'll get to that later, but a lot of his lyrics too were like, a lot of his lyrics were original, but a lot of his stuff was recycled, like literally word for word. Like I heard this song that Cameron put out, and it was like back-to-back lyrics of just everybody besides his own lyrics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he took a lot of Biggie's lyrics, word for word, and put them in his own, which to me, hey, it worked, obviously, right? It worked.
The man's getting paid.
The man's getting paid. But in my eyes, it'd be Nas, definitely. Hands down, Nas. Yeah.
So what do you like better? Do you like the process of putting the music together, listening to a beat, writing in the studio, or performing?
I mean, that's all a cycle of things.
But what do you prefer? What gets you going?
When I'm in the studio and I'm laying down something that I think's real hot, it just that inspires me to want to push it out to the people, and then the next time I perform that song. You know what I mean? The writing process is always unique too, because you never know when you put a beat on what direction you're going to be coming from. Like when I put a beat on, I feel the beat, I listen to the beat and it talks to me, and then I start writing. I don't have an idea. Sometimes I have an idea, but I don't have an idea and just sit down and write that idea. The beat talks to me, you know what I mean? So that's where that will come from.
When you hear a new song, what's the first thing you gravitate to? The lyrics or the beat of the song?
Not so much the lyrics of the beat, it's probably the way they rap it, the style, the flow, it's 2014, so things are very sped up nowadays, but it's interesting to hear people to have a different take on the way they rap, like Tech Nine. He's a lyric Hobson. Those guys just put a totally new twist on the way you deliver the lyrics, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
No doubt. Yeah, I listen to lyrics. I'm a lyrical, being a writer.
Oh, I love lyrics, for sure.
I listen to the lyrics, but the flow, there's definitely some original sounds out there.
Yeah.
What artist do you think is long overdue for dropping an album? And it could be an artist that's passed away as well. If someone can if you can hear one more album new, who would you want to hear a new album from?
I would love to hear Big L again, or Big Pun.
Oh,
I would say Pun.
Pun?
yeah, man. Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
I heard.
I'd say Pun. Definitely.
I heard a track from him the other day, and I was just like, man.
He's a
I wish he, give him a few more years to make some music.
Yeah. Biggie
something.
Biggie too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of my hip hop inspiration goes back to Biggie. So if I could just hear and Tupac, I'd like to see how they compare to nowadays.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Because they kind of had the. I don't want to call it the slow flow, but now things are more fast paced.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear what they would how they would be keeping up with the new cats nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be awesome, definitely.
Do you fall into that thought process of if they were alive, so and so wouldn't be around?
So be working at McDonald's.
No, definitely not. When you're forced to be reckoned with, you're forced to be reckoned with. I mean, like that specific one you just said, like Tupac said to Lil Wayne. I mean, there might have. These men are so much more grown than these new rappers too that I couldn't even really say. Biggie and them is like their 40s now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think so. Maybe some would be intimidated because Pac really went at dudes. Like he really went
didn't
at
care.
dudes. Like so, a lot of these bubblegum rappers and stuff like that probably the industry would be different because they were like running it. So it probably definitely wouldn't make it.
Going back to them being 40 years old now. Besides Eminem, who just recently dropped the album at, what is he now, 44, 42, right? So he's 42 years old.
Yeah.
How many other rappers, Jay-Z being another one, a lot of these rappers are getting
those are only two that are in their 40s.
Yeah.
Putting out
what
good
do you think,
music.
Good music, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how the fuck do I word this question? The progression, like, how do you see some of the rappers falling off where, like, Jay-Z, Eminem, some of those two are able to still stay relevant in their music at such an old age? Because I remember Eminem back in the day going at Benzino like, yo, you're a grandfather.
Right.
Now Eminem's, like, older than what Benzino was at that time. So, like, how are, some of the old school rap cats that we might have grew up on compared to, like, the cats out right now, how are they staying relevant or, a lot of them are falling off?
True, you gotta be innovative. That's the thing. A person like Jay-Z, man, he digs his feet into everything, man. Business, he did an album with Linkin Park, which reached way beyond, the ghetto, the hood cats. You know what I'm saying? It reached way beyond into homes that might have not been so adapted to Jay-Z. You know what I mean? People like Eminem, he's innovative, he's different, he's new, he's creative. They always do something new to stay in the spotlight. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you're gonna try to leave a legacy like one of those two, you have to be innovative. You have to keep up with the times.
Ahead of the curve.
You have to be ahead of the curve, ahead of your, almost ahead of your time. So, I mean, innovative. That's the word I'd use.
No doubt. As a rap artist, what would you, to hit the mainstream or the masses, not necessarily the mainstream, would you rather do it as a signed artist with backing, or would you rather have it, like, what do you think is better? An independent artist that makes it big, does it all, scraping to get by, because obviously you're not gonna have the money backing you, so you're the one that's using your finances, or
right.
all the money that comes in goes right back out, or being the major label. Like, how do you want to come out, right? When you hit the mainstream, do you want to be on the label? You want to be independent?
See, to me, it depends which label. You know what I mean? Like, I would never sign to a Bad Boy. That's just point blank period. I would never sign to a Bad Boy record because
Iggy's not a fan of P. Diddy over there.
Well, this is the thing about P. Diddy.
I bet you're gonna say the same thing I say.
Hold on. I'm listening.
I bet you're gonna say the same thing I always say.
This is the thing about Diddy. Hey, I respect him as a businessman.
He makes money.
He's the mogul. He is the mogul. But when you sign to like a Bad Boy label, you'll never be as big as P. Diddy. And how can you shine as an artist if you'll never be as big as the guy who runs the company? You know what I mean? Now, like an Interscope, that's my ideal, or Grand Hustle. Those would be my ideal record labels.
They just want you to make money.
Major record. They're behind you. They want to push your music. They don't want their name to overshadow. Like T.I., he pushes B.O.B's more than his own music. You know what I'm saying? And a place like a Bad Boy, like I said, look at all these artists that have gone there and just absolutely got raped, is what I'm going to say. You know what I mean? Like anybody that was on that. Red Cafe had so much potential, still does, but it's just when you're under that Bad Boy name, it's like
you're stuck.
It's Diddy first. It's not the artist first, and that's why I'd like to go to like an Interscope or a Grand Hustle, because it's all about the artist before it's about the owner or the A&R or whatever, you know what I mean? So, but as an independent artist, I mean, yeah, I'd like to do it. Those are the 2 record labels I'd like to sign to, but other than that, I'd like to do it independently until I can build my own empire, you know.
Get the empire, rule the motherfucking world.
Yeah. True. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that.
What would you do if rap was taken away from you? Where would you be?
I mean, if rap was taken away from me, now that I have a daughter, man, I'd be with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it was taken away from me, man, if I couldn't listen to music every day, man, I couldn't, go back and listen to my old favorite songs or hear a new dope song, I'd probably be more of a bitter person, you know what I mean? If I never knew it, that'd be a different story. If it was just right now,
taken away, wiped away,
you'll
never get to listen to another song. Never get to write a song, never perform, record.
It would definitely be a big part of me that would be taken away, and I would probably absolutely be a different person. Absolutely. Music has changed my life in so many different ways. You know, I hear beats with everything. I hear the fridge going right now, it's like a beat to me. You know what I mean? Like everything in life is a beat to me, you know what I mean? It's instrumental, and I want to create an instrumental to my life. I want to create a theme song to my life, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I want to take it.
So, you got the Shots and Dreams.
Yep.
You got your other, you got something, the remix mixtape coming out.
Yep, that'd be
what else? The second remix. Yep. What other future projects you have, or shows or anything lined up?
I got a show coming up in March at this warehouse. Remember that warehouse?
Yeah, dope.
I'm doing
Bloody Human
Films. Yeah, shout out to Bloody Human Films. Dutch and Mir, shout out to them.
Be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for Shots and Dreams. And we're gonna close out this Ghetto Geek TV Weekly with a little 16 or freestyle, whatever you want to do, man. Kick it off.
What if this life was different? History was changed up. No Holocaust, no slavery, no whips and chains, but we living dangerous. And can you blame us? We chase the devil every day to become famous. What if Biggie never died? Tupac never got shot? Martin Luther King became the first instead of Barack? What if we were all equal in the eyes of the cops? No more racial profiling, man, that shit needs to stop. What if Jesus was schizophrenic? Not a prophet at all, just mentally sick. Would you stick by his sentences, y'all? What if the towers didn't fall? George Bush wasn't lying. 9/11 never happened. No Osama bin Laden. And the feds fully followed up on Tamerlan Zayav. No marathon bombing in Boston, it stayed quiet. No riots in LA. And Rodney King didn't get beaten. Bruce Lee survived the poisoning. Watch what you eat. I mean, imagine OJ never killed Nicole Brown. And the Titanic ship never sunk and went down. Imagine Dr. Dre never discovered the kid shady because he slept through his alarm. Rap Olympics didn't make it. What if?
Day to become famous. What if America was built on honesty and not corruption? And these politicians, we actually believe them and we trust them. What if Michael Jordan never made it to the NBA? Would there be Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade? Microsoft didn't exist, Bill Gates wasn't paid. What if Ali shipped out to the war and didn't stay? What if Hugh Hefner wasn't the man, but he was gay? Imagine no house party, Martin Lawrence kid and play. No Will Smith means no Fresh Prince means no Ace, cause he was my biggest influence when I was 8.